Vayachaloim Yosef chaloim vayaged le'echov. Yosef dreams about all his brothers bowing down to him, the dream of the sheaves of wheat, the dream of the 11 stars, the sun and the moon bowing down to him, dreams about his future role as the leader in the family, and he tells his brothers. And then the second dream again he tells his brothers. And by telling his brothers, he's pressing all the wrong buttons in his brothers and creates jealousy, which ultimately morphs into hatred, which eventually creates the biggest nuclear mistake, really, of the whole of the brothers of Yosef, which is Mechiras Yosef, an error of mega proportions. Why would the Torah give us a parsha of all these mistakes? Yaakov makes mistakes that he favors Yosef, and he trumpets that fact by giving him a Ksonis Pasim. Yosef makes mistakes by telling the brothers about his dreams, V'hu Na'ar, and by his behavior in general. And then Yishlachehu me'emek Chevron, and then Yaakov makes a compounding mistake of sending Yosef alone on foot, unaccompanied, from Hebron to Shechem, a journey which I wouldn't recommend you today either to take alone. And clearly, and along that way, he meets the brothers and is eventually sold as a slave, as we all know the story. Why would the Torah give us a parsha all about a series of errors and blunders in this way? And I think there's a very interesting issue here. And that is that the Torah is really telling us mistakes of great people in order for us to learn from them, in order for us to see these mistakes, to reflect on them, and first of all, not to do them ourselves, but secondly, even more importantly, I think, is that the great thing about mistakes is that everybody makes them. Everybody makes mistakes. Human beings are fallible, and the measure of a man is determined not by whether he makes mistakes or not, but how well he recovers from those mistakes and how he learns from those mistakes and how he goes forward. This is really, I think, very much an integral part of Parshas Vayeishev. How do people recover and deal with past errors? One of the interesting details here, which I think Chazal saw as a key to this idea, is when Yosef is on his way to his brothers, so he gets lost. He can't find the path. He can't find them. And then by Yimtzoehu Ish, he meets an anonymous passerby, and who asks him, "Where are you going to?" And he tells him, "Looking for my brothers." And he says they moved on and they're now somewhere else, and he redirects him. And this conversation seems to be pretty trivial, so trivial, in fact, that it's not really worthy mentioning. I mean, we're not told how Yosef went on this journey, what clothes he was wearing, or what day of the week it was, or how many days it took him. We don't know anything about it, except for this one little episode. Chazal had a Maseira that this episode was not a random, trivial episode at all. But Yimtzeehu Ish, says Rashi, Zu Gavriel, that this actually was not a random passerby, but this was the Malach Gavriel. And if it's the Malach Gavriel, then what we're talking about is a particular moment of Hashgacha Pratis, a moment when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to direct Yosef in a particular direction. And this is also a very interesting subject that the Ramban talks about here, which is Pasuk in Mishlei that we're all familiar with, Rabos Machshavos Belev Ish. Human beings have all sorts of thoughts and make all sorts of decisions and make lots of mistakes along the way. Va'atzas Hashem Hisakim. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sort of rolling out his own divine plan for that generation. And therefore, in a sense, we have to look at all the events in Parshas Vayeishev. On the one hand, they are blunders made by human error. On the other hand, they are all part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu bringing Yaakov and his sons down to Mitzrayim, which was for their benefit, for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, going through Mitzrayim in order to ultimately come out with Yetzias Mitzrayim and Har Sinai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a big plan for us. And even along the way, certain human errors are in some way part of that plan. But it's interesting here, Gavriel comes, and the way he expresses himself is very significant. Because, first of all, the pasuk doesn't say that Yosef found a passerby. That would be Vayimtso-ish. It's Vayimtso-ehu-ish, which means that this person, this anonymous passerby, was looking for him, was looking for Yosef. So it must be that this is something of a calculated meeting, that this person is somebody, he's got a message for Yosef. And he asks him, he doesn't ask him, where are you going to? He asks him a very interesting question. This Malach Gavriel, disguised as a passerby, asks him, Ma Tavakesh, what are you looking for? Now, the word Levakesh, I want to pause on that for a moment, has got a very special significance, because we find in the Torah a difference between a she'ela and a bakasha. Right? We have the pasuk Achas sha'alti me'es Hashem, also avakesh. The connection between the she'ela and the bakasha we find also with Esther HaMalka, she'elosi ubakashosi. So if you look in the Malbim and other Mefarshim, they will tell you that there's an important difference between the two. A she'ela is the things you ask in life, meaning the things you have to sort out in life. You have to manage your life in a way that works well for you, right? And we ask the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that all that we need should come true in the best way possible. But Levakesh, says the Malbim, means something else completely. It means, what is your ultimate goal in life? What is the big picture, the mission statement, where everything that you are looking for is aiming towards? So this Malach Gavriel was asking Yosef really an existential question. Ma Tavakesh, what do you really in your heart? What do you want out of life? What is your goal here? It's interesting because this whole mission that Yaakov sends Yosef to Shechem has really got no clear goal at all. He wasn't bringing them anything or bringing back anything. He wasn't bringing a message. It was just go and see how they're doing. It's Shalom Achecha. So Gavriel asks Yosef, Ma Tavakesh. Ma Tavakesh means, what is your ultimate goal? And Yosef gives a very interesting answer, which I think is very relevant to us today and throughout Jewish history. He says, "Es Achai Anochi Mevakesh." I want to, my brothers, I want to be reconnected and reunified with my brothers. That is what I'm ultimately looking for. Because Yosef clearly at this point, if this parish is correct, then he has understood that there has been a break between him and his brothers, and what he wants to do is mend that break. As Achai Anochi Mevakesh, that became his mission statement in life. And even later on, when he tricks his brothers into thinking that he's angry with them as the ruler of Egypt, and he makes them bow down to him, all this was only in order that eventually they should become unified together. So here Yosef is saying, that's what I'm looking for. But Gavriel tells him a warning. He says to him, Nos'u mizeh. They have moved on from that. Says Rashi, they have moved on from the brotherhood. They don't consider themselves anymore. You're looking for your brothers. They don't consider you anymore their brothers. They consider you somebody who they've got to get rid of. Nos'u mizeh. And the Das Akedim Vale Ateisus gives us the interesting gematria of the word Zeh. Zeh is 12, right? Zeh is a gematria of 12. So Nosu Mizeh means they don't consider themselves anymore to be 12 brothers, only 11 brothers. You have been cancelled by them. You've been excluded by them because of your behavior. Clearly, you are a danger to them and to the future of the Jewish people. And the Mefarshim tried to justify. The Mefarshim tried to justify the statement of the brothers and say that, look, the brothers looked back at Avraham. They said, look, Avraham had Yitzchak, but also Yishmael. He had a good one and a bad one. And Yitzchak had Yaakov, but he also had Esav. So it's not impossible that our father Yaakov has all of us, but he's also got Yosef, and Yosef is toxic for us, and we have to get rid of him. That could be that in justification for the brothers to understand that was their way of thinking. But I call upon him, Yosef is trying to find that unity as Achai Anochi Mevakesh. And I think certainly in the last year and a half since October the 7th, this feeling is a very dominant feeling worldwide among Klal Yisrael. We're looking after our brothers, we're looking for our brothers, the brothers who are fighting, the brothers who are hostages, the brothers who are wounded. We are all very, very concerned about those brothers. And in the end, Yosef actually does succeed in reuniting all the family together and mending all those errors that he had made, and the errors that Yaakov has made. Also later on, when Yaakov, it's said about Yaakov, the Yaakov says, I'm going to be an Avelis for Yosef my whole life. So the Sforno says, why is he going to be an Avelis his whole life? Because he blamed himself for the mistake of sending Yosef alone from Hebron to Shechem, says the Sforno. He felt that he'd made a mistake. So Vayeishev is about mistakes, but it's about recovering from those mistakes, finding the key to solve the difficulties created by these mistakes, and moving on to create Klal Yisrael and to create the future of the Jewish people. And that's really, I think, in a sense, the underlying message of Vayeishev. Achai, Anochi, Mevakesh, that becomes the theme, and that is really the goal to which the whole Parsha aims. And Be'ez Hashem, we should also aim in that direction. V'chein Yirat.